Now, this is quite a big story. Reform have already lost, obviously, Rupert Lowe recently from the party when they tried to get the man arrested for A, threatening someone, and B, having guns in his house, which was quite bizarre. And both those things were flung out, and he's not facing any prosecution whatsoever, but he's still not in reform. So James McMurdock, now James McMurdock, to be fair, he's the guy that nobody can remember because at the election they had 5 MPs who were really had a much of a clue who he was, what he'd done. And rumour has it that he was a paper candidate. They didn't expect him to win that seat and they were just putting candidates across the country. And this guy landed with a 90 odd £1,000 a year job. So what's happened? Well, we're not 100% sure. But Reform have put out this statement today by Lee Anderson, and I'll just read that out. It says, I have today received a call from James McMurdock, who has advised me as Chief Whip that he has removed the party whip from himself, pending the outcome of an investigation into allegations that are likely to be published by a national newspaper. The allegations relate to business propriety during the pandemic and before he became an MP. At Reform UK, we take these matters very seriously, and James has agreed to cooperate in full with any investigation. We will not be commenting further at this moment. Signed off, Lee Anderson, MP and Chief Whip for Reform UK. So that's a bit mental, that's a bit bizarre. And they have not went down to 3 MPs because Sarah Puchin won a by-election a month ago. So they're at 4. So they went from 5 down to 4, back up to 5. Now they're down to 4 again. So it looks like 5's their unlucky number. But this is just a bit bonkers. And it's just another thing in the mad story of Reform. And you would imagine that having 5 MPs to manage, then this sort of stuff shouldn't really be happening. But it's becoming a bit of an occurrence to them. And we can only just guess what this thing means where it says the allegations relate to a business propriety during the pandemic and before he became the MP. But it doesn't say it's just because a national newspaper is going to run the story. It says it's pending the outcome of an investigation into allegations. And who is investigating them? I wouldn't imagine it was Reform UK, because if they were investigating them, then James wouldn't be telling them he's removing the whip. They'd be telling James that they're removing the whip from him. So we're kind of got to guess what it could be. Could it be supplying some PPE stuff? Could it be something he done claiming some funds during COVID lockdown? I kind of don't know. So I don't want to guess, but those are the sort of things that are getting flung about X Twitter just now. And I'm just going to just check just now while we're on, because there was no mainstream coverage of this when I was alerted. It took me sort of 10 minutes to get the live space set up just to break this news to you. And by the way, what will happen with the live, a few minutes after, probably 5-10 minutes after the live, it'll get packaged up and it'll go out as a normal video that people can watch. So I'm just going to go and Google his name again, into news on Google. Yeah, there we go, ITV now. Yeah, they're all jumping in 5-6 minutes ago. Sky, Independent, Spectator, my God, they're all in it. So let's just see if any of them have got anything that they have over and above the initial thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to screen share with you just now. And it is, where did we go? I don't want to I'm working on a video just now with some pretty mad information about another guy, so I don't want to click the wrong one and show you a sneak preview. So what's that look like on your end? Let's just make that full screen for you. And it's not that one. Not very good with this. Where is the one? Is it that one? Yeah, that's the one. Right. So you're now looking at what I'm looking at, and it is this tab here. So ITV, they're breaking news. Reform MP James McMurdock removed whip from himself. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just scan reading this just to see if there's anything else. No, they're just going with the exact same information as I have, which is basically the statement from Reform. Let's see, New Sky News. Reform MP suspends himself over allegations around his business affairs. Blah, blah, blah. See, statement, allegations. No, again, they've got nothing other than the basic stuff that everybody's got access to now because Reform have put out a statement about it. They've got Independent's got a couple of comments on it. It leaves Nigel Farage's insurgent right-wing party again with just 4 MPs. With Reform previously suspended Robert Lowe for criticising the arch-Brexiteers' leadership. The suspension comes just 1 year after McMurdo entered Parliament almost by accident, having agreed to stand in a general election as a so-called paper candidate. That's what I was saying 5 minutes ago. He won the South Basildon and East Thurrock seat by 98 votes, having given up a high-paid job at a financial firm in the City of London to become an MP. The 38-year-old, who has previously worked for Barclays, Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers, specialising in energy, infrastructure and manufacturing, ran his campaign with only the help of his parents. Right, so that doesn't really give us any insight into, what business he had. So let me just see if there's any other outlets going along with this. Spectator, GB News, who are obviously far closer to the Reform than most. Allegations are said to be published in a national newspaper. No. He sparked controversy as it emerged that he was jailed nearly 2 decades ago for repeatedly kicking his then girlfriend in 2006 while drunk outside a nightclub. That was kind of done to death, that story. Speaking about his time in prison, McMurdock said, "I would like to do my best to do as little harm to everyone else and at the same time accept I was a bad person for a moment back then." Blah, blah, blah. Another one you see. No, nothing there. So there doesn't seem to be, at least now, before I went live, there was before I was setting up the live, there was like nothing in any of the mainstream media, but they seem to be jumping and piling on now. Let's see, nobody's coming up with any sort of new revelations in there. So that's kind of it. And nothing really more to add. So I don't want to bore you all to death. I'm just going to check the comments now, see if there was anybody with any questions. Good to see some usual suspects in there and a few new commenters on the page. Hi to all of you. MB suggesting, could it be somebody been taking some dodgy COVID loans? It could be, but I'm not sure what business he had at all. Right. Just searching through a lot of hellos. Well done. What's this one say? Undoubtedly something dodgy, whether legal or not, needs to be revealed later. Of course, if you are a Tory or a Labour millionaire, peer things are naturally different. Yeah, that sounds like fair comment. And where are we? No, not seen anybody. When I'm scanning down, there's quite a lot of comments below. So listen, I'm not going to bore you to death and be on here forever. It's just to hit you with some breaking news, get the debate started, and no doubt over the next few, I would imagine what's going to happen next is it will be a Sunday newspaper that's going to have some expose about James McMurdock. Being a newspaper, normally they would contact you to tell you there's a story going in and ask you if you want to make any comment. And that's probably why he's been it's been highlighted to him. He's then spoke to the party and they've kind of agreed that this is the best thing to do. So thank you very much for those who have tuned in quite quick. Once the video goes out for real, which will be in about 5 minutes, if you see it again, click the like, hit the share and put some comments below. That will help drive it into more people's timelines. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell, and you should get notified of my lives as they go live. So please do that. But most importantly of all, unless you're the type of person who may or may not have nicked a couple of pounds or two during COVID when the rest of us were just worried about our life, then not you, but everyone else, have a great day.